PSA members, in the area of trust, no marriage could survive without trust. The PSA over the years have been plagued with political interference and political dealings. When you vote on Monday, the 10th of March 2025, you'll be voting for PSA United Sentinels, free from political interference and free from anyone on the executive who has political ambitions. We believe that our members in the PSA have a right to have their political opinion and their political choices. We will not interfere with that. However, we would be first and foremost taking politics out of the PSA. Members of the PSA, stay focused. We got work to do, plenty work to do.
Yes, good evening, Trinidad and Tobago, and welcome to Union Matters tonight, and you know tonight is the final countdown to election tomorrow. And yes, you must log on, tell a friend, because we have a lot in store for tonight. So we have a lot in store for you tonight. And we're going to bring on the man who is going to be going up for the election, Anthony Reid, and will be trying to unseat this wicked incumbent tomorrow as we must come out and vote. Tell a friend. Let's bring on the man. Mr. Nixon Calendar. All right. Good evening, Mr. Nixon.
Good evening, Fearless Warrior. Good evening to our PSA members, public officers at large. Good evening. This is the eve of the elections.
So all the machinery is ready for tomorrow, and we expecting people to come out early in the numbers tomorrow.
Well, this is what we have preached throughout the campaign. The campaign for us was 9 weeks. 9 weeks the campaign was for us. We would have traversed various parts of Trinidad and Tobago. Unfortunately, we were not allowed to campaign at the Civil Aviation. The Water and Sewerage Authority did not allow us to canvass. At the head office, I would say, because the other stations we would have gone, and it's only because of the supervisors. The Ministry of Education, they gave a lot of problems there. But we got through quite a bit. We got through quite a bit throughout Trinidad and Tobago. what is instructive in this elections is that persons don't know how to vote in their union elections.
Well, hold up. Let me hand it over and you take the floor to let them know how to vote tonight as this we wind down in the election campaign. Let me hand it over to you.
Yes, good night again, all. And before you even start to listen to the program, there is the QR code right up here. Scan, download, get all the information you need concerning our team. Our team is one moment. I believe. Let me just do a little check here because I believe we are not. Sorry. Let me just do a little check here. Right. Oh yes. So we are streaming live on our page. I just saw it blacked out there a little bit. Right. So we are live here tonight. We are live here tonight, and for those, it is surprising that a lot of the members don't know how to vote, and people tomorrow is the PSA election. It starts at 7 a.m. and it ends at 4:30 p.m. We are encouraging you all to go to the polling station. Go on to the polling station at 7 a.m. Reach there for 7 a.m. So while we are at it, let's please share the page, share the page, so that persons would be able to see this live tonight. So make sure and share the page. We are streaming live, so let me just do the needful here. Let me just do the needful. All right. Yeah, so my comrade there, I have a little screen here. My comrade from Tobago, and I'm seeing the supporters behind him there. Thank you, comrade. Thank you. So please share the live. Make sure and share it. All right. Right, so people, we are live right now. So again, blessed good night to our viewers and to our listeners. Again, tomorrow is the PSA election, 7 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Go out there in your numbers, go down by the polls, stand up, reach there for 7 a.m., which is 6:30. All right, go armed with this in your mind. You see this shield, this Sentinel shield that has stood the test of time, that where we developed this logo back in 2013, and we remain as sentinels to this day. Yes, so go to the polls at 7 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Now, comrades, by now you're all supposed to know that your name is on the voters list, where your polling stations are. These polling stations have been shared throughout different chat groups. We have shared it out in our various campaign trains. And if in doubt, please scan this QR code. Go, you will get all the information you need. Now, comrades, it's really painful that we need to emphasize or need to remind people about how to vote in their union elections. Certainly, lack of knowledge can cause you harm, and the lack of knowledge over the years was basically, we would have kept persons in there for a very long time. and they would have failed. Comrades, let us reason, or let us agree to disagree, but let us reason. The PSA right now, all our bargaining units, some of them are on 14, some of their collective agreements are expired and they did not have wages and terms and enhanced wages, terms and conditions for the past 11 to 14 years. Let me just say that tonight, is a night where you need to make a decision. You need to make a decision. It's either you vote for competence or you keep incompetence in the PSA, or you vote for inexperience in the other team. Comrades, right now, all the CEOs, heads of departments, permanent secretaries, the chief personnel officer, the DPA, everyone is looking on to see who public officers are going to place in the PSA to represent them over the next 4 years. Comrades, I am a stickler for education. I never stop learning. None of my team members, they have not stopped learning. They continued over the years to advance themselves. But when I was on interdiction, when I was dealt that blow of lemons, you know the little metaphor, the cliche, you take lemons and make lemon juice? Comrades, I made sure that even at that time, after I came out of the executive, that I continued to work hard to educate myself, to fine-tune my skills in representation. So I started to consult with what I knew coming out from all the years of training. I realized that the private sector needed my skill. So I started to earn money through consultancy. One of my first, I would say, jobs that I got after coming out of the executive was an operations a director of operations and industrial relations in a company in the Martin. And that was a kind of a sobering feeling to me, because here it is, while in the trade union movement, as in the public service, I am now an interdiction. I now have to battle them things that I'm in court, which these ex-officers had put me through. But I didn't whine. I didn't cry. I turned it into lemonade. And the nice thing about it is I actually saw my two children grow before my eyes. That was a real sobering experience, comrades. Because it wasn't easy. It was tough. But I could not stop. They say when you're going through fire, don't stop. You'll get consumed. Continue going. So almost immediately, I started to practice my trade. The company had a matter with the CWU. And I could remember the shock on the comrade face when they saw me. And then it was like 3 days after that, I was summoned to another company in Champlain. And again, it was CWU. And it's like this matter was already in court. And the comrade was like, he shocked again, because it was so surprising that you have someone with the years of experience like I have in the trade union movement and representing someone on the private sector. And then it started to continue. So fate would have it that during those years, I continued to practice. But something happened during those years. You see that phone number I had on all them flyers that I'm in 2013? Yes, comrades, the members started to call, because not too long after the elections of 2013, people start to realize, members start to realize that something ain't reading right in the PSA. We were hoodwinked. It was like a shock. It was like, okay, you all campaigned, Watson, all your campaign had all these game changers, and then better. They realized that who put themselves up for the elections were not up to the task. And then the grievances started to build. The telephone calls started to get more and more, longer and longer, unanswered. Some of them were answered and left on hold for a long time. Some of them was told, we will get back onto you. They never got back. And the membership grievances start to rise. But people in between all of that too, our members, the suffering started to increase. We had public officers with matters at the Service Commission, tribunals, disciplinary tribunals. We have now gone into 2014, 2015, no collective bargaining. They didn't start nothing. The same job evaluation exercise, which was one of the agreements for when Watson took the 5%, nothing in start. And then, poof, you see Watson becoming a political leader. No negotiations going on. So people, I am going through this for the last time to tell you all that you all have already learned. You saw what incompetence has brought us to. We are not in a good place. I could continue talking about this from now until. Let me tell you something. Just on this alone, the clicks on this, our app. Let me just go to the admin here, the analytics. Let me just go to the analytics. Thank you, comrade sister. Thank you. Right? It shot up today. Right? Today alone, and this is new clicks and views, and then it gives now the average time that someone would have viewed our app on just the strategic plan alone was 9 minutes today, the average time. You know what that means? You know what that means, comrades? It is starting to take hold. It's no longer about just talk. Today alone, it shut up. And the total over the week, because the week would have finished. Sorry, let me get back on it. Right. The week had ended, and this is the weekly report here. 7,274 clicks with an average time, and the average time was given today. Comrades, this is all the rubber talk that went on during the elections, all the rubber talk. People now starting to decide to view. Because this app is just a prelude of where we want to take the PSA. But comrades, in getting back to where we are at right now, because I could talk about this whole day. All you have it, just go on the QR code, go right here. We had this all the time. But in the past 11 years, what significant started to occur is that the executive officers, especially at the level of the president, the first VP, the second VP, they not only started to turn on the membership, they started to lie to their faces. Agricultural officers and allied workers, I want to just jog back, jolt on your memory. In 2009, when I came in as an industrial relations officer, two of our section officers immediately held a meeting with me because they heard of the work that I did while as the chairman of the judiciary with their reclassification. And they said, comrade, we want you as our section rep. That is Comrade Jairam and Jairam Rampasad, and I forgot the other comrade name. It will come back to me. He's on my Facebook page, I believe. And almost immediately, we started. One time I got the order, the order from the court. I went through it. I reached out to one of the directors at the CPO, informed the president, what is the situation here? Because remember, we didn't get no handover, people. When we came into office, we didn't get no handover. Is you jump out of a helicopter and it's... That was in 2009. Imagine now. So going back to there, and simultaneously, the hospital administrators matter came up. That was an old matter. And other matters start piling up. But agricultural officers' own was an order of the court sending back the PSA and the CPO to begin the reclassification review. And we went with it. Ms. Dwarka was the consultant or the advisor on the side of the CPO. The CPO, her directors, myself, and the section reps. And we did that for 10 months. And it came to an end. When I filed my report to the president, the recommendation was to give the CPO 90 days to make a decision. Because with all the arguments we had, guess what? The matter was referred to the special tribunal, but it didn't go through the review process. I told him to give, the recommendation was to give the CPO 90 days. And should the CPO not respond within 90 days, we then seek the intervention of the court by order of mandamus, forcing a decision. Comrades, while all of this was going on, it was chaos in the PSA. Always remember, people, one man up to today who is running in this election, and I'm calling his name straight, Oral Saunders. He's still saying he was kicked out of the union. He's still saying he didn't resign. That is the guy, that is the fellow who is before you all right now. Let me put sacrosanct aside. So agricultural officers, when Avinash Maharaj run to Ole the other day and say, hey, Ole matter coming up, you know, Ole matter coming up, it reminded me of the Sunday morning on I-95.5 live before the PSA elections in 2009. It reminded me about that. And what did it remind me of? There was a live meeting with the incumbent executive, and it was going back to all the things that they had to do and they have to do. And we have to do this and we have to do that. Do not vote in an inexperienced team. But guess what? The matter involving the agricultural officers, the PSA made a fatal mistake. Well, not fatal. They didn't go through the review before whispering it or sending it to the special tribunal. And comrades, today in 2025, Avinash Maharaj and them ain't have shame or balling and no shame, boy. My forest officers and them, I was in charge of the forest officers section. When it is that the past president, the then president, pulled them into a meeting and blade them because they wrote him asking for representation. He massacred them. And he said their writings, the letter to him, reeks of calendar. Well, thank you.
because that section wanted a representation. I'm telling you, I'm bringing back memories here because people touting themselves of having experience about telling all you who is the people who was in the driver's seat, the person who was in the driver's seat. At the time, Comrade Sister Lydia and Cummings, who came onto the executive as acting when Satan take 2/3. Comrades, after the resignation of that guy and what transpired in the PSA, 2/3 of our executive followed him. Within 4 months. So agricultural officers, I'm jolting on in memory, for Avinash to be coming by all year and saying, oh, look, the case coming up. All you ever saw the pleadings. Who instructed the attorneys on this matter? Is it the same Avinash Maharaj who instructed those persons to take to refuse to work in a building, I believe it's in the east or in Grandy, to refuse to work in the ADB? And it so end up happening that these people and them had to pay cut. Is it the same Avinash Maharaj who folding up the arm and trying to look big and bad? Check it out. Ask them people and them in ADB how much money they get cut. And ask him where he was, how he paid didn't get cut. And he rallied on when he was inside there. And he rallied them on to do a section 15, not even in the proper way. And he paid, he didn't get cut. Is it the same Avinash Maharaj? I ask any question. So people don't be fooled. Don't be fooled at all. We have to understand where we are at right now, comrades, public officers. We have to understand that. Comrades, our membership has been decimated because people continue to drop out. Because what prevails in the PSA right now is misinformation, disinformation, lies. No wonder why none of them cannot go before the court. No matter, none of them could practice before the court because they're so weak in untruths. The workers in NIB, they're wasting time with these people matter. Wasting time. When we went to the head office there, 2 of the workers actually told us that they are studying. The workers there want to go in Bigu. Kellen, boy, you sure you had down there, look? And I had to urge the comrade there. I had to urge them, comrades. Hold on. When I talk to them in Central NIB, when I talk to them in Sando NIB to bring them up to speed on what's really going on, lies, misinformation, disinformation for them to stay in office. People, if I didn't, I would tell you something, eh? You see, anybody who popping up into the PSA to want to go to the executive level, and they have no history in this, this is not supposed to be attractive to them. The acting director of HR from the Ministry of National Security, who is on my team, she served with me 7 out of the 11 years in the judiciary PSA section. So she didn't just rise up there not knowing about the struggles and whatnot. Stacy and Semper, general counsel, section chair, secretary, always in the mix with the union. She was one of the general council members there who had to sit and watch at the spectacle when a man sent resignation by text and said that he's not noticed in writing. Any practitioner of our trade, of our craft, people will know. Once you own it, it is yours. She there and she lived through the bacchanal in the PSA. All you want that. Well, none of that never happened again. But guess what? We was pumped with incompetence and an intellectual decadence at the PSA. The CPO, the DPA, the CEOs of our various bargaining units, members, they are looking on at you all. Right now, there is a issue we call, comrade, I want to tell you, you see this here? We always bring it out. So that is why we always direct you all, read. It is because proper planning prevents poor performance. And this is what we have come to you all with all these years, comrades. Proper planning prevents poor performance. If you don't plan for success, you shall fail. And this is what the majority of us has been voting on, and the majority of us has removed ourselves or not allow ourselves to go into the polls and vote. This is serious situation, people here. Right now, there is a debate going on, where it is that people, it's still kind of, it's comical, it's comical. Because we live in an era where social media have every bush lawyer it have. One of the things with social media, especially in these WhatsApp groups and them, you will see, especially what we practice, you won't see much comments coming from anybody who actually experience. You'll see a lot of comments from people who does just read. And they lack experience. They don't know how to put law into context, which law that they are referring to that actually had so many amendments and so many judgments pronounced. And it's a whole set of, so I used to be in them, and then I dropped out, and then for the election's sake, I came back in. And imagine the law says that a category of worker has been placed into another bargaining unit. The person just simply saying, I don't want, you're free not to, I'm not going to join that union. I mean, I have no business with that union trying to take over. The law not studying that, people. The law has placed that individual in an appropriate bargaining unit. The PSA never had recognition for him or any of the nurses that fall in his category. The PSA never had recognition. So finally, the recognition board, through the efforts of the Trinidad and Tobago National Nursing Association, has placed the individual in an appropriate bargaining unit since the 19th of September last year. And then what we are being fed on this social media platform, an ex-nurse who is a member of all kind of different associations, which none of them as yet have any recognition for him, telling you all to vote for the man who the PSA cannot even represent. Only what we really doing, people, our employers are looking on, and they must be having a real hearty laugh, people. comrades, an individual, and this is why in practice, I was the prosecutor for an auditor, against an auditor. And she tried to bring another union. I ain't gonna call the union name because she tried to bring another union, but the institution that she belonged to has recognized majority union status. That union, she attempted to bring that individual. When I was brought onto the matter as the prosecutor, I didn't object. The comrade just simply never turned up. He never turned up. And after several tries to bring the young lady to the tribunal, we had to do the tribunal ex parte. And she was convicted and she was terminated. The matter is now in the industrial court. And I'm defending that company's position. But what was instructive about that? When the matter reached the Ministry of Labor, guess what? She had to take the recognized majority union. When the matter reached in the court, she had to continue with the recognized majority union. The same union that she didn't want. She took another union. But we are today still battling with whether Oral Saunders should be the president or should run for president. We're still battling with that. And our constitution says that if you belong to another union which holds recognized majority unions, you cannot even be admitted. Let's be real, people. Let's get on to brass tacks here. We have a couple of hours before we go to the polls. This is all your last chance. Good night. Good night, Collins. Good night, comrade. Good night, and good night to all the comrades here. I see my first VP, my IROs, and them, yes. You know, just share the page. Because if we don't get this right this time, people, you think we have a crapo that will want to smoke our pipe. No crapo will want to smoke our pipe. And even self, when we win that election, come tomorrow after the count, there can be no celebration, people. Because you know why? We got work to do. Plenty work to do. This will be triggered immediately. This, because you know why? We plan. We were planning since this. We were planning all the time. The planning never stopped. This is not a 3-pager union. Thank you, comrade. We need serious people. Yes, indeed. The PSA is not a union with a 3-pager plan. The PSA is not a union for worse now. It didn't have no room for inexperienced people. Every single individual, all of my 12 candidates, including myself, were chosen to effect this to ensure that our shop stewards, our representatives is well-oiled, trained, disciplined to bring out that army of representatives. It is about finalizing our wage negotiations in all our bargaining units. It is about sitting down and getting down to the work of industrial relations, representations, no politics. That when my executive and I and management and the various sections sit with management, there is no skewing of the parameters. Let me get that straight. So Airports Authority, Civil Aviation lost. We lost our recognition under this executive in civil aviation. Comrades, our recognition was revoked under this executive. So there is no collective agreement, no collective bargaining going on there. It has outstanding wages and terms and conditions outstanding out there, people. Our members in BIR and customs, well, they tell me what Saunders know about TTRE. When he was supposed to be in the executive as general secretary, not to get vexed and because Duke hit him a letter and he gone AWOL and he was supposed to be the PSA general secretary going through all these things. When it is that myself, Comrade Joe Field, and Comrade Seret had to sit down in that library upstairs in the PSA for hours preparing that brief for Joe Field to go before Parliament to speak against the TTRA in 2010. Where was all Saunders? That is when he was supposed to be gaining experience by. Where was Felicia Thomas and all of them? Well, she must even was in Wassaz. And that is why I say to this day, boy, Leroy, boy, you're a real disappointment too. All them hours, we and the custom, the Seret and the next guy, and Joe Phil and myself, while you out there with those other general council members from the past executive, only in mischief, planning to storm building and all. Where were you? This is when you were supposed to be gaining experience, partner. Oral Saunders know about customs and BIR and this transition and the whole history about that. What you know about that? Let's now hold on. That's out there the other day, no? Good day. Good day. This is what we prepared to answer the state. First time the PSA sent an executive officer to Parliament as an independent senator to fight against this. It's hours we have to spend putting together this. Look at where this has come down to today. Where right now our members across there are confused in BIR and customs. When we went to St. Anne's Hospital, got up in the HR department there, the girls and them don't know who is Oral Saunders. Who? What? And then when we ask them, are you up here? Not a single one of them. Not a single one of them. Wards maids, attendants, they drop out of the union. We go on to the Port of Spain General Hospital, under Northwest, under Northwest. A whole HR department, people, it must be have about, conservatively, about 35 people, including the manager or the supervisor there, and she was in the PSA and she dropped out. Not a single one of them are PSA members. I was greeted by Demetrius Harrison, the supervisor for the attendance there. And comrade, thanks for your support and your courtesies and things. It's a good thing I went down in the attendance there because I saw one of my family and them there in Tobago, from Tobago. And she ran and she hugged me up one time. She said, boy, and when we started call certain names, I said, okay, comrade sister. You know what she asked me? Mr. Calendar, what about the RMU you was dealing with? So I can understand where it is that how people are going to manage that whole thing. But I'm telling you tonight, comrades, that matter with Oral Saunders and this appropriate bargaining unit, and he's running in our election, that is a serious threat to splitting these votes. Public officers, WASA, Civil Aviation, Airports Authority know what are they doing. Because the comrades and them who following them, they know it. They know. And then when it is a catch on to them in all the chat groups and them, they start to put up all sorts of different people. The law is the law now. You could be a member of all different 1,000 trade unions. It doesn't mean that you are a member in good standing. So let me stop the pussyfooting people. Let me stop the fakery. Where is Oral Saunders and his team experience? Where it is. Where it is. We already know that Felicia and all of them, they would have gotten experience in how to wreck the PSA. That is their biggest experience. Felicia Thomas, Avinash Maraj, Kellon Wallace, Leroy Batiste, Jitan. I'm going to call out all the names. Hold up. Right. Avinash, Kellon, well, Felicia, Jitan, well, Kester Yarel, let me tell you, Kester between me and you. Because up to now, in all these years, that same executive can get RMU for all year. And you go on and join that team, but to each his own. Okay, comrade. When you lost, guess what? You could go back on this section and we will train you. You will become a battle-hardened, competent rep. Kerry-Ann Bailey, Postal, Nicole Daniel, Hayden Duke, Nova, Dixie Gill, another, you disappoint me bad. Bad. All in no good conscience supposed to be supporting this. All in supposed to be supporting this, boy. We still on 2013 salaries in 2025 and all they come in with to tell all you now, or to tell us now, blame the government. When them was propping Watson Duke, Leroy and Felicia had Watson Duke right there, sailing on his political career. They ain't studying negotiations, they ain't studying job evaluation, they ain't studying we workers in MIC, running roughshod, management running roughshod on them. How comrades are calling out all of your names? Well, Avinash is a failure, total failure. Nova, Kellon, from a trustee to general secretary. How? How in good conscience, when these people and them, when you're checking WASA, I went through WASA, atrocities. Let me move on to the next one. Comrades, I have nothing to prove again, people. This plan all over. Let me check the clicks again. I'm talking here for the past 49 minutes. Let me get the demographics. 301. Between the 301 added. People clicking on. This is where proper planning prevents poor performance. It have everything, membership benefits, our approach to membership benefits. It's still on, people. Partnering with local, regional, international, especially on the international. Because our membership and their families, their children need to be educated in this thing called industrial relations. This whole plan here, people, is not just stopping at educating the reps and them, you know. The PSA Training Academy, which we brought to the membership since in this. You know what we want to hear? But the PSA do this to me, boys. I get this through the PSA, boy. The PSA, my union. Membership benefits is about twinning the PSA with other unions internationally so that our members, our workers, and their family could benefit. If this was if you all had elected Team Sentinel, the same team that I ran, we would have. Let's understand what's going on here. Let's understand membership housing. Members, are they still want to stay in that rat race for HDC? Comrades, I feel only think I have people on my team who also not only is certified in grievance management psychology, degree in psychology, but also in tongue and country planning. I feel I have people on the team from tongue and country for just so. It's about having the PSA partnering with private landowners to take our members out of that rat race they call the HDC race, and to build affordable homes for our members. The data indicated that, what our data said, that as of when our members was last polled in 2024, 81.51% suggested that this benefit is very important. Comrades, we getting them kind of data since all year. Occupational safety and health. Comrades, there will absolutely be no compromise where that is concerned. So if it is that you want compromise, stay with Felicia and them. Or if you want people to be running around like headless chicken, choose Felicia or Oral and them. Because under my watch, the longest section 15 that was instituted was in the Arima Magistrate Court under my watch, and every single one of the members and them had their salaries running. It was 91 days until they got that problem fixed in the Arima Magistrate Court. 91 days. It is about competence, people, that when it is we press that button, our members know. When we call to action, our members know it is not only justified, it is well thought out and strategically planned. People, these things could only happen successfully with competent leadership. And you see the leadership I have on either side of me. Fazia Mohammed, Nuchuda Campbell, Ria Ralph Watson, Alicia Nualo, Mr. Comrade Ricardo Cunningham, auditor, because we know the kind of work we have to do inside of the PSA. All our IROs, Stacy, Ivory, Sharika as the Industrial Relations Officer coming out from North Central Regional Health Authority, one of her base objectives is to get the RMU status for the EMT, the hospital attendants or the patient escorts and them, the persons and them in radiology, CSSD, the clerical workers in North Central. Anybody who not talking RMU status or RMU of bringing collective bargaining to these category of workers, or they run them. I have not heard none of that talked across the board from no other team. And we talking about that since when? If this was only implemented all now, especially in the North Central Regional Health Authority, every single clerical officer in HR, records management, they would have been under collective agreement today. We went to the records in Port of Spain General Hospital, and one of the guys remembered me when it is I was gathering up and bringing the forms for him to sign. When Watson Wright all, that was in 2012, November of 20, that was in, yeah, November of 2012. When it is I doing my work as the General Secretary, he write the heads of department that he taking over the industrial relations portfolio. Well, you know, rank is rank. I reported it to the General Counsel, and what it is he keep telling them, all they study ghostwriter and don't study all the HDC house. And everybody. Look, Stacey Roxanne Semple, look, I write in the chat there. She was in the General Counsel. Right there. When it is she taking decision, raising her finger for dealing with a man. When she look around by herself, one or two, they ain't moving no motion to call the beast at all. So the regional health authorities under PSA United Sentinels is about returning collective bargaining to the RHA workers. We would have never gotten RMU for the nurses. That is already, that is a no-brainer. We never had recognition, and we were not going to get it. And this is why in between 2011 and 2012, my mission in these RHAs and them was on RMU, collective bargaining. So I'm watching at the leader of the UPO heaping scorn on the Trinidad and Tobago Registered Nurses Association for actually getting RMU and for actually getting him and other nurses in an appropriate bargaining unit in the Northwest region, heaping scorn. Comrade, that is not the behavior of no true trade unionist people, because everybody knows as a basic shop steward, it's about getting membership to get 50+1 to get collective bargaining. Our comrades in NUGFW, they get recognition in Nina Massey just recently. So I guess the UPO man, the star man, I guess he been scorned it too, that another group of workers get RMU, you're heaping scorn, you ain't supposed to want that. But you want us to believe, and you and your group, which are they trying to justify, or they want us to believe that here what, I have a right to be a member anywhere. So another union could have recognition for me. And the union that I want to lead, that union can't even represent me. You want us to believe that that is just normal, eh? The employer is looking on. Grievance and case management. Since 2013, well, even before 2013, again, Stacey Roxanne Semper, the General Counsel rep at that era, when it is I came to the General Counsel after getting it passed in the executive for an automated grievance and case management system. Since that time, it was about having the PSA in the palm of your hand. And at that time, you was at BlackBerry and thing. Even that time, don't get visa, everything to go to Michigan, to fly out, to go by the developer. because we also got passed in the General Council that our data would have not been stored here. Only want to talk about privacy and exclusivity. Our data would not have even been stored here for the prying eyes of the state. Visas already got, and then bam, bacchanal in the PSA. They storm again, send letter to First Citizen Bank, all kind of thing. War in the PSA. But under this watch, under my tenancy, during this dispensation, we will get it done. So all you can't say again, no executive officer will be hiding people, filing grievances right here, right here. You will know you will have all the information wrapped in and trapped in. Guess what? You will have to just enter your new membership number, which each time you enter it, it will be scrambled over 6 or 7 million times, decoded, all kind of thing, just to get the prying eyes. We locking down the PSA. It is a private membership organization, and we will bring back privacy to our union. It is time that the PSA return to its fraternal origin. Our business is our business. And our business for the next 4 years is how our members will fall in love with the PSA. We're competing with the employer. Because we know the employer can't treat all as good as how the union go in and treat all you. When all they're flying, and all the PSA membership card now, that smart card, all they'll be proud. Because as you land, you're getting signals in your phone of who are the favored departments, everything going straight there. As you land in the country and you hook up on their phone cards and whatnot, as it enter, guess what? Whatsoever union that we are twinned with in those countries, you will benefit. I am still in contact with these people. That is about planning, people. Education, training, and development, we've gone through that already. It's about the Public Services Association Training Academy. We'll be returning our members to the Cipriani Labour College. And comrades, what the Cipriani Labour College cannot provide for you all, in the interim, the development, after a while, we'll be moving away from the Cipriani Labour College, because we'll be moving into a place where our training academy will be accredited. Organization restructuring, people. Your union will be restructured in a way that information technology will be at the forefront. It is about effective management of your union. And therefore, our members of staff will be fully trained. Tobago, our jewel, the structure for Tobago remains the same. We shall be giving our Tobago branch of the PSA a full structure. And that is about having a second vice president candidate, Tobago. It is about having Tobago at the forefront of representation. And when we have our Tobago comrades at the forefront of representation, they will be generating their income coming in from the various members they will be co-opting or recruiting into the PSA. So comrades, We have said enough within this 9 weeks. It is time that you go out there and vote for the entire team, all 13 executive officers. Vote for a team that has consistently brought a plan for you all. And comrades, if you all don't plan to succeed, then you'll get them other 2 3-pager groups. Comrades, go out there between the hours of 7 and 4:30. Go out there early and cast your ballots for all 13 candidates. And before you go into the polling station, say a word of prayer to whatever God you pray to, and trust that He will guide you. Proper planning prevents poor performance. Go out there, people, vote. Public officers, get out there. WASA, you all know what you all have been going through and still continue to go through with Leroy and Felicia and them. It's your choice. All right, go out there, vote. Comrades, I am Nixon Calendar, presidential candidate for PSA United Sentinel in the upcoming PSA elections on Monday, the 10th of March, 2025. Tomorrow morning, comrades, go out there and vote for the only team with a plan, only team that has been consistent over the years, and the only team that has shown you all where we intend to take this PSA, and we'll be doing it effectively and efficiently over the next 4 years. Go out there and vote anymore.
Well, Mr. Nixon.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. Well, you're tired and you had to head out, but there are people who wanted to ask a question here. Look at a question right here. Let me put it up on the screen right here. So they want to ask what we bring to the table. Building on years of experience, and you understand, so they want to find all these things.
Well, that individual, as you have listened there, what we bring to the table is all in here. We bring grievance and case management systems, membership housing for our members, independent and away from the agencies. We have our whole method of wage negotiations is about being data-driven, and that we only will be settling for the best for our members. And where it is that we have to compromise, we will be using our negotiating skills to get some elsewhere, while it is we lose some. So it's a balance. It's about balance and competent negotiations. Also, it is about a management of the PSA that is solely geared towards having you fall in love with your PSA. When we created these plans, it was always about having the member at the center of attention. How to make members feel at home, feel a love for their union. And from the time we started to develop plans on that level, it is about having education. It is about having our membership, having the benefits of businesses, local, regional, internationally. It is about twinning our organization with other trade unions throughout the Commonwealth and North America to have benefits to you. It is about shop steward and membership interchange, where it is that we could exchange our representatives between unions to have that kind of experience throughout the Commonwealth of knowing how industrial relations is done. It's about carrying our shop stewards and staff side to the court, to the Ministry of Labor, training them. It is about getting your grievances attended to even at the Equal Opportunities Commission. It is about competent defense of you at your tribunal, whether it is in Service Commission, one-man tribunal, or the tribunals that exist under our other bargaining units collective agreement. It is about getting RMU status for our members in the RHAs, our non-essential members like the clerks, the HR officers, the maintenance guys and them, the attendants, the records keepers, records clerks. It's about obtaining RMU status for that. So we bring to the table what we continue to offer since 2013.
Well, I know that this is the final current call, and a number of people are ready to go to the polls tomorrow. And really and truly, I really would want them to come out and vote for change. You see, plenty of people in this country may not like change. And there are those who will just look at the thing and say, well, them done they can, well, what we going out there to vote for tomorrow? But when you go out there tomorrow, you have to understand that this is your union. And in order to bring about change in your union, you must come out and let your voice be heard. Because Nixon can do all the talk from now till never read. At the end of the day, the power lies with you, the individual voter, who must come out at 7 o'clock in the morning and finish vote when? 4 o'clock in the evening, 6 o'clock in the evening?
4:30.
4:30. So you basically have nearly 8 hours or 9 hours to get yourself ready. You get up early in the morning, say your prayers, take a drink of tea, eat a piece of bread. If you don't have nothing upon the bread, because you know the robots when them have you in this bondage for so long, you can only put a little piece of butter. Even if you can afford to put the butter on the bread, just throw a little salt on it. Go out there and vote. Because what they have done to your union, I don't think that people understand that PSA is slowly becoming an extinct union if they don't get the act together tomorrow. And that's why the vote is so important to come out, bring about the change. Just like how NUGFW brought about the change. FWTU try to bring about the change, and they fight, and they bring about the change. And there are other unions who are bringing about the change. Communication workers brought about change. Everybody bringing about change. So what is wrong with PSA? What is wrong with PSA? Why is there this disconnect? Long time when you used to hear PSA, you're frightened because you know you're seeing 10,000, sometimes you're seeing 100. They just coming along the road like piranhas. Now, if you call for a PSA, you're only seeing maybe about 2 or 3. Is it that people have lost the vision of what they're seeing in the union?
The union
and that
has
is why you
have gotten them disgusted. The executive of the union has, you see, the union has a very proactive role and responsibility. Yeah? If you allow workers' minds to stay lax or lapse over a period of time, and what they have been seeing over the period of time is a man in a suit driving around in a Benz, in a BMW. Our young shop stewards and members, they believe that is the life. That is the thing, right? It's about the opulence of the office, but at the extent of guess what? You still don't know how to even successfully represent somebody in the court, in a tribunal. Things when matters, when it is man head hot, they give them a disciplinary letter and they're running by the PSA. Is they can't find nobody. It's not that they can't find nobody, no. It's because they know that they're incompetent, so they run and they hide. They hide and they give them a set of old talk. But what go on with this election is in the hands of the public officer. It's in the hands of the public officer. The public officer still remains the majority, but they are the least that comes out and vote. They are the least that takes interest in the union. They are the least that actually mind their business in the union. And that over the years, over that 11 years, especially that 11 years, it has hurt us. It has hurt us because the most easiest thing for a public officer to do is go and stop the $100 in by the accounts department. And then they sit back. And then what? When it is we walk about the accent calendar, when we get we back pay. So it's really a union supposed to be that fibrillator, to always jumpstart the membership. But it's not just about change. If it is just about change alone, you're letting them fall in the hands of that deception from UPO and them. They have to look at more than that. They have to look at what people walking about in their hand. 3 pages, a mighty PSA. You come into the membership with a 3-page document to manage this organization. So it's not just about change. Anytime it's just about change, then we can have them bunch of neophytes going inside there, and we're gonna be spending more money on lawyers, more money on consultants, because none of them know. Because what they fail to understand is that lawyers take instructions. It's not just a lawyer you're going to throw on a man matter. The lawyer has to take instructions. So the PSA being the union that has spent the most money on across the board than any other union on lawyers, because you know why? The lawyers had to do IRO work. They had to do grievance work. Because they don't know they don't know how. When you look at the PSA constitution as to what an industrial relations officer is supposed to do, what the president of the organization is supposed to be, people don't understand that the president of the PSA is the chief executive officer in the context of the rules of the association, the chief administrator, the chief negotiator, the representative of the organization, and the chief spokesperson. So anything coming out of the mouth of the president or the head of the organization has to be prepared. That individual don't speak on their own volition. So when it is a matter comes up that the PSA has to make a statement on it, is about these minds, these bright and intelligent executive minds, along with general counsel, which form into a committee to give an official release. So this is why you have over the years, you have presidents saying anything come to their mind, because the organization is bankrupt of any intellect. And then for you to go and keep Felicia and them in there, it will continue because they are just on the salary and the money. And then to go now and put Oral and them in there, who they have no experience, nothing at all. Guess what happening there? You have the CPO. The CPO just saying, walk in the park. You have the CEOs of them organization and them saying, walk in the park.
But let me just ask you this before you wrap up. What are the mechanisms and plans for tomorrow as we go into this election?
Well, the only mechanism that is in place for candidates is for them to have their polling agents.
Right.
The other mechanism is that the conduct of the presiding officers, deputy presiding officers, the person who is in charge of these individuals is Mr. Desmond Noel of the Auditor General Department, who is our election officer. Now, that individual, the election officer, is responsible for the conduct of the presiding officer, the deputy presiding officer, the whole conduct of that election day machinery. So that is the person in charge. That is the person who is there to ensure that the polling clerk, presiding officer, deputy presiding officer conducts this election in accordance with the rules of the association and the election rules. The election officer has to make sure that all the stubs are returned and it is balanced with the stubs that was used at the polling station. When it is that we go back to the office, when it is the tally is coming in, the election officer is in charge with that. I am putting it out there. I am putting it out there for a reason. The election officer is in charge of election D-Day operations under these elections of the PSA. So, Mr. Noel, for whom much is given, much is expected. And therefore, we expect that the elections, especially tomorrow, everyone will be given an opportunity to vote. People, you can vote in any polling station once your name is on the list. And if your name is not on the list of persons to vote at that polling station, but your name is on the master list, the list of eligible voters, they must allow you to vote, and your vote will be placed as a special ballot to be counted by the election officer in the election office after the close of the poll. Walk with your ID, passport, driver's permit, walk with all those things. Make sure that when you're dipping your finger, make sure you dip your finger and vote. Do not go and double vote. Don't get tied up in those kind of stupidness. But go out there, people, and vote again for the only team with a plan. Proper planning prevents poor performance. And remember, people, vote for all 13 candidates. Write down 13 candidates. Wherever you see this shield of defense, this shield of the Sentinel, who we never left our posts, but we continue to help members and improve ourselves and build ourselves to come back again to be your executive. Wherever you're seeing this shield here, this shield, vote 13 candidates. And on the 11th or 12th, when the election results is given, this kickstarts. And we deal with your business. Thank you, everyone. Thank you again. I am Nixon Calendar, presidential candidate for PSA United Sentinels in the upcoming PSA elections tomorrow, the 10th of March, 2025. Thank you again, comrades. Thank you all for your time and your patience with us whilst we campaign. Thank you to all those administrators and those supervisors who would have allowed us to campaign there, and for those who would have quickly given us those admissions. For those who refused to give us admissions, by the grace of God, our message still reached our members there. Thank you again. Thank you, everyone. See you all tomorrow, 7 to 4:30 p.m. Vote PSA United Sentinels.
Make way. I got work to do. Let the work to do.
Comrades, my stance within this association has always been to protect and defend the independence of the PSA and to remain committed to the ideals which had brought me here this evening also. Throughout the turmoil, I continue to do what I was elected to do as a trade unionist. That is, to represent the membership passionately in all matters that came before me. Comrades, Nixon calendar did not run from any challenge. Instead, I stood my ground. I held the fort so that I can fight for you from within.
Make way, make way, make way. I got